Living next to an HOA is like living next to a nest of hornets. You can ignore them for a while, but eventually one of them is going to sting. For me, that sting came in the form of an electric bill that made my jaw drop. I know how much power my ranch uses: pumps, lights, a couple of freezers, and my wife's sewing machines. But this bill was 3 times higher than usual. Something wasn't right. So I started watching my meter. For days, I kept an eye on it, jotting down numbers every few hours. That's when I noticed a spike. Huge amounts of electricity being drawn at night, even when nothing on the ranch was running. I followed the cables, checked every breaker, and finally realized what was happening. Someone had spliced into my line, running a cord over the back fence and straight into the HOA subdivision. The culprit wasn't hard to spot. Karen, the HOA president, had recently bought herself a shiny new Tesla. I'd seen her plugging it in at odd hours, and her garage light seemed to burn all night. When I checked more carefully, sure enough, the line ran directly into her garage. She'd been stealing my electricity to charge her car. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I called up a buddy of mine who works in electrical engineering. We spent a Saturday morning rigging a little surprise. It was perfectly legal, perfectly safe for my property, but it would make sure anyone leeching off my lines got a nasty shock in more ways than one. We installed a circuit interrupter that tripped the moment an unauthorized draw was detected. It didn't fry her car, it fried her setup. At 2 in the morning, the breaker snapped, sparks flew, and her entire garage went dark. By sunrise, she was outside screaming at an electrician, waving her hands like a madwoman. Later that day, she stormed up my driveway. "You ruined my car charger," she shrieked. I leaned against my truck and raised an eyebrow. "Funny, since I don't own a Tesla charger. Maybe you should ask whoever's power you've been stealing." She froze. Her eyes darted left, then right. I don't know what you're talking about." I pulled out my phone and showed her the pictures. Clear as day. Her garage, the spliced cord, the line running from my property to hers. Her face drained of color. "You want to explain this to the sheriff?" I said. "Or do you want to write me a check before I press charges?" She stammered, tried to bluster about community resources. But I didn't budge. I called the sheriff anyway. When he arrived, he took one look at the photos and the setup, then gave Karen the kind of glare that could cut glass. "Ma'am, this isn't just trespassing. This is utility theft. You could be looking at criminal charges." Karen wilted. She begged me to drop it, promised to pay for the electricity. I didn't let her off easy. I calculated every extra dollar on my bills for the past 3 months, added the cost of the electrician I hired, and tacked on a fine of my own for trespassing. The total came to over $5,000. She had no choice but to pay, because if she didn't, the sheriff was ready to haul her down to the county jail. Word spread fast in the subdivision. Homeowners who once thought Karen was some kind of leader now whispered about her stealing power like a petty thief. Her shiny Tesla sat in the driveway for weeks, uncharged, while she scraped together the money. And me? My electric bills went right back to normal. Every time I drive past her house and see that car, I can't help but grin. Karen thought she was clever, stealing my power to fuel her luxury toy. Instead, she got burned, literally and financially.